Hey, what's up? This video actually wasn't expected today. I was upstairs and thought, man, maybe they want a video on PKHeX since the one they have now isn't homegrown. So, like usual, I'm here to fix all of your problems with one solution. So, everybody wants to know how to use PKHeX, and everybody wants to know what in the hell is AutoLegalityMod. Good question, and I'll show you. So first things first, Windows PC, Windows 8 and up, I believe. It might work on 7, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll say Windows 7 and up. You need that. Now, once you have that, or if you run a Mac, you can run Parallels on the Mac. I think it's a one-time fee of $79, or you can get a free trial of it so you can run Windows applications. Either way, you need a way to run a Windows application. So what we're going to do is we're going to head to the links that are in the description, should be at the very top, and you can also see it up here in the corner as well. And this is the first one. This is PKHeX. Next up, this is PKHeX plugins. Now, the reason why I'm showing you these is because we have a new channel in the server for Master Tier and above. Yeah, for Master Tier and above of patrons. So if you're a Master or Rival, have fun. Otherwise, you might want to consider upgrading to that if you'd like. Every little bit of the support helps. What do you need PK9 files for? Now, PK9 is Scarlet and Violet. PK8, Sword and Shield. PK7, PB7, one of those is Let's Go. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I know that you guys are requesting Pokemon in that channel, and you're more specifically using PK9 files to help smoothen out the process for Terrier and Atlantic, who are graciously devoting their time to giving you guys the Pokemon that you want while we wait on the release of SysBot. So you can't use these files or use this program unless you have a hacked switch yourself. But if you have someone, say, in the server, you can hand them those files and they'll get it put onto your game for you. They'll trade it to you. So big plus there. But let's go ahead and get into it, get started. I'll show you how to very, very quickly set up PKHeX in the easiest way possible. I think you all will absolutely enjoy it. So first, go to the PKHeX link, the very first link in the description, and hit download this file. So here's your PKHeX 22.12.01. Now, if there's ever an update, when you open PKHeX, it'll tell you if it's out of date. So big plus there. So we'll go ahead and we will extract here, and you'll see your PKHeX file. Now, that's groovy, except it's not. So instead of doing that, if that's something you're used to, delete that PKHeX, right click. You can use WinRAR, you can use Windows, but make sure it gets extracted to a folder. Okay, and I'll show you why. Hit extract, and now we have a new folder with PKHeX in it. We want PKHeX in a folder. I cannot stress that enough. Now, go in that folder and run it. And it's going to say Windows protected your PC. Hit run anyway. It's safe. Promise. Been using it ever since college. PKHeX can perform automatic backups. If you create a folder with the name blah, 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 in the same folder as PKHeX's executable. Would you like to create a backup folder now? Yeah, why not? So we'll go ahead and hit OK. And now, groovy. We've got the start. So this is PKHeX. You can see the species of the Pokemon and you can change it. You've got your nickname, you can change it. And when you do change it, it'll automatically check mark over here to show that the nickname has changed. You've got the experience it has, you've got the level that it's at, you've got nature, and you've got stat nature. So let's say you had a Brave Annihilate and you gave it a Mint. Well, its stat nature is Lax because you gave it a Lax Mint. So yeah, pretty simple stuff like that. Usually you can keep them the same though, no big deal. Form argument, I have no idea. This is new. I wouldn't mess with that. Held item, whatever can be held in the games can be attached to your Pokemon. Ability, obviously you can do Inner Focus, Defiant, or Vital Spirit for this guy, but you'll be able to set your legal abilities. Friendship, 255, I believe, is the max. And if you try to set it any higher than the max, it should, automatically fix itself when you hit tab. Language, this is a good way for getting dittos. Is egg, that'll turn it into an egg, but if that Pokemon can't be an egg, it will always be illegal, like this one right now. When a Pokemon's illegal, you'll see a little red triangle here. We're going to remedy all that when we're done. There isn't Pokerus in this game, to my knowledge, so nope. And so infected and cured won't help you. Size you can change. You can do scale, and you can go extra large, extra small, and get those mini and huge marks. Met, the origin game and the battle version, this was good for Sword and Shield, and it'll prove to be true for whenever home is supported. When home is supported, you'll have, let's say, origin game, it'll be Sword and Shield, but if it comes from Sword and Shield and its move sets are from Sword and Shield and it's legal in Scarlet, it'll be battle version Scarlet. But that's something you don't have to worry about for a while. Met location, you're probably not going to touch this unless you're trying to tweak something on your own, which I've had to do a couple of times. The ball, if you click on the little ball icon, I hope you can see my mouse. If you click on the little ball icon next to Pokeball, the ball, if you click on the ball, you can change the ball that it's in. Helpful feature. Obviously, the LA balls are carried over just in case, you've got a different type of file open in here. You can also scroll down to do that. The Met date, that helps with legality, I guess. Met level, you can change it, 28. And now Scarlet and Violet introduced a new thing called obedience level. It's really cool. Kind of stupid, but it's kind of cool. Usually its Met level matches its obedience level, depending on certain situations. And you could put mark as egg if you met it in an egg. Home tracker, always keep that 0 because that resets your home stuff whenever it goes into home, so it doesn't show up as illegal. Oh my goodness. IVs, Annihilate, he's groovy. If you want to, you can change these IVs all 31 if you want. You do that if you really wanted. Or if you wanted to make it look a little bit more legitimate, you could randomize IVs, have it go random, hold down shift and click on each of these, and when they turn green, that means they've been hyper trained. So you can do that as well. Neat. EVs, remembering your 510 rule. You can only have 510 collective EVs. So let's say Annihilate, I would probably do 252 attack, 252 speed. That's 504. That leaves you with 6. So you could give it 6 in defense. Or HP. Usually I would probably do HP, but yeah. Original Terra type, that's what it would have came with. Usually you want to stick with one of its types. So whatever its type is, I think it's dark, normal, whatever. It can be either one if it's a dual type, but as long as it's one of those, it's fine. And override Terra type can be anything because you can change Terra types on anything. You can randomize your EVs if you really want. I wouldn't. That's stupid. I don't know why you do that. Contest stats, there aren't contests. Moves, anything green is pretty good. Anything green will be legal for said Pokemon. And then, of course, for TMs, if you want it to know a TM, you'll have to come down here and just hit give all. It's the easiest way to do it. And OT, finally, the part that everybody loves and wants to know the most is, can it be Larry G and what's my SID? Well, that's 4564 and your TID is 768,321. So whatever your SID or TID is, that's what makes the Pokemon obey you, on top of now obedience level. So if you haven't beaten the first gym, I think it's level 20 plus Pokemon won't listen to you. So do that, and the obedience level won't affect you that much. Latest not OT handler. This is the one who's got a hold of it, I suppose, the one who will be trading it or who has it in their possession. But the trainer information is the part that matters the most. Extra bytes, I have no idea. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to begin to lie to you. You can change its markings by clicking on the markings. I don't know what those two are, but I guess that's the shiny mark and Pokerus mark. But yeah, you can change your markings. That's pretty neat. If you go to ribbons, you'll see that the green ones are good. These are questionable. These are new marks. Absent-minded, alpha, angry, blizzard, calmness. There's a bunch of different marks that Pokemon can have, like the Titan mark. But obviously, if it wasn't a Titan, take it somewhere else. And you can edit your save data when you actually have a save file in here. I'll show you guys that too. And I'll also show you how to auto-legalize for the game that you'll be playing. So that's pretty cool too. Now, right now, we are done with PKHeX. Okay, and I'll show you why. So we're going to go ahead and close it. Now we're going to come over to the second link in the description, and that's PKHeX plugins. All right. You get to this page, and you'll go over to PKHeX plugins RC221201. If these two don't match, like if your PKHeX is more updated than your AutoLegality mod, get bent. If your AutoLegality mod is more up to date than your PKHeX, get bent. They have to be the same. I only say it like that because I know the devs would want me to. So download ALM setup _ stable. It'll say, do you want to trust it? Hit keep, and then keep anyway. We'll go ahead and open it, and we're going to drag it into the folder that our PKHeX is in. Not the zip, but the folder. Now once it's in there, you can see it's in here. We've already ran PKHeX once, which is what you have to do. And then go ahead and double click ALM setup. It'll determine latest plugin release, latest PKHeX release, and when it's done, it'll say press enter to exit. You'll notice one new folder, and there'll be a plugins folder. And in there is your auto mod and your QR plugins. Now, once we get in here, you'll notice some extra features that we didn't have before. And I don't think I'm going to cover all the features in PKHeX today because it's a doozy. I'll let you guys tinker with it some other time. I'm just showing you the main features that are worth it. Now, when you open it, the ball up in the corner of the app will be purple. That's cool. Except sometimes when it opens, it won't turn purple and you won't see this under tools. Okay. When that happens, you can close it and reopen it, or you can right click it and run as administrator. I recommend that because that's what helps me the most. So you'll have some new stuff. Files, not new. This was old. You can open, you can save Pokemon, you can export saves, and you can quit. Under tools, prior you had Showdown. So you can import sets from clipboard, export party, and export current box. For data, you could load boxes, which is just a folder with PK9s in it, PK8s, PK whatever, for whatever game you're playing. Dump boxes, dump box, so you can dump a folder. Box data report, Pokemon database, mystery gift database, encounter database, and batch editor. Batch editor is cool, and I could probably link you stuff to batch editor, but I think batch editor has to be a video on its own. For real. Open folder, you could just open a folder of Pokemon. Language, English, Settings. Now, in these settings in particular, I believe you can change the blank game that you're editing. So if you want to edit Scarlet or Violet, if you want to edit Arceus, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Sword, Shield, any of these, they run all the way back to yellow. So that's pretty tight. But when you do that, you can edit those save files. I can open a save file, for example. I've got a Ditto save file I just did. And you can see all of these Dittos. This one's Adamant, this one's Bashful, this one's Bold. And when you're editing your save, if you go to the save file, the SAV area, and hit items, you can give yourself 995 of every item, which is really cool. something very interesting in case you guys ever want to hack a switch. I've got a video on that too, specifically for patrons. You guys should be able to see the link. I believe it's in supporters info. So anybody who's a supporter, not even just patrons, anybody who's a supporter, I have a video on that. So if you ever want to hack your V1 unpatched switch, yeah, edit your save and give yourself everything. There's box layouts. You can change the wallpapers of the boxes. Raids, you can edit your raids as long as you know as long as you know the seed, you can edit that. Don't talk to me too much about seeds because this isn't my job. I don't do raids. That's not my thing. Trainer info, you can give yourself infinite money. You can change your trainer name. You can change your SID and TID. You can do all that good stuff. And then unlock all fly locations. That's cool. Collect all stakes. Unlock all TM recipes. Unlock all bike upgrades. And then Pokedex, you can complete your Pokedex from here. So you can complete with all forms, all of it. A bunch of neat stuff you can do with saves. Now on to auto legality. I'll show you guys. Like right now, the auto legality is correcting for me. I believe it is. Yeah, it's correcting for me. So anytime you're able to get a PK9 from a Pokemon that you caught yourself, you can do this. We'll close PKHeX. But if you come into the same folder as PKHeX and you go here and you type new folders and you type out trainers, you can do that. And then when you open PKHeX, you can open up your save file or just the PK9. You can open it up and drag and drop the PK9 into here if you have it, say, downloaded. And you'll see how it has your SID, TID, and OT. Well, if you drag and drop that Pokemon into your trainers folder, like so, anytime you use a specific feature that I'm about to show you, it will generate a Pokemon with your OT, your SID, and your TID, your TID. So we'll go ahead and do, we could clear this save, but I'll go ahead and quit to make this fresh so you can see it in action. So now we don't have a save open, but we can go Tools, Auto Legality Mod, Generate Living Dex. Now before we do this, I want to show you Auto Legality Mod plugin settings. You can set it to include all forms. You can set it to create all shiny. So remember to turn this off or on if you ever use it. Now alpha obviously doesn't happen in Scarlet Violet. That's a PLA thing. So we set those settings to true, false, generate, or true and true. So we generate living dex, hit yes. And now it'll generate every single box full of Pokemon with all forms and shiny. And not only that, it has our OT because we put that PK9 file in the trainers folder. Neato. Now this is usually my base for working with Pokemon. So let's say I wanted to create a competitive Dragonite. I would find this one because it's already legal. And then I would find a set. So Smogon. We go to Smogon. They have Scarlet and Violet, of course. Why not? Let's find Dragonite. There's a couple of different ways you can use Smogon for this. But let's say this guy, Extreme Killer Knight, Extreme Speed, Dragon Dance, Earthquake, and you can choose between any of those. Lumberry or Silk Scarf. I use Lumberry with my multi-scale Dragonite whenever I was playing singles. But you export, you can right click and copy, and then in theory this is completely different, but you can go to Auto Legality Mod and import with Auto Legality Mod. and it'll import the set. And look, we have a Dragonite, but we want it to be shiny. And if you hold shift and click, it will place that Pokemon in a square. So now we have the one we just generated from Smogon. And if we wanted to use one as a base, we definitely could. We could take this Tyranitar, for example, and go in and change its stats. It looks like this one was already all 31. We can change its attacks. As long as it's green, it should work. See how Taunt doesn't? I'll show you. We can do Mud Shot, Ancient Power, and Bite. So if you ever see this, you can click here and it says Invalid Move. Now in this case, I know how to fix it, but if you don't, you can go Tools, Auto Legality, Legalize, and it'll make it legal. And you just shift and click, or you can right click and hit set, either one. So really neat, super easy to use, really fun, especially if you have a hacked Switch. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments below. I wanted today's video to be short, sweet, simple, and to the point. And again, any questions, leave it in the comments below, ask in the Discord. It doesn't matter, but this is the basic how to use PKHeX and AutoLegalityMod. So nothing too bad, nothing too hard to learn, just stuff you can go through pretty quickly. I'm not the OG king of using it by all means. I know Atlantic has a little bit more experience with it than I do. And I would say Ghost even knows a little bit more as well, but I do know my way around PKHeX. So if you ever need help, we're there. And apparently you could generate Smogon. That's cool. But yeah, you can do whatever you want to do. You can export QR codes. Don't know why you would. Oh, and by the way, even if your game, or even if PKHeX shows, these being illegal or anything, you see this OT is a little bit different, so we would just legalize it. And it says, no, you, alright, champ. That's fine. Invalid current handler value, trainer details for save file, expected another value. So I guess it's because we don't have a save file open, so it's kind of like, what? Because the save file is it's not a Violet save file, it's Scarlet. What? But that's like, anyway, if you wanted to screw around and your Switch was hacked, you could definitely make these shiny. Just don't try to use them online. Big recommendation there. If I recommend making anything shiny, it's this little saber-toothed tiger here. Chin Pow. Sick. You would love it. But that's it for today. I believe we're done. And if you guys, again, have any questions, you know where to find me. And yeah. The next video coming out will show the difference between legit, legal, and hacked Pokemon. Very excited to do that. That may be a public release, but we will wait and see. So enjoy the rest of your day. I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for the support, no matter who or where you are in the world. And I will see you in the next one. Do me a favor and stay optimistic.